Hello, hello, everyone. Hi, SINATIA Live. Look at this incredibly beautiful, dramatic, dark black background behind me because it gets dark right now at 5 p.m. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Hello. I am Tia Marie, creator of the SINATIA universe, and I'm welcoming you to my live. If you are new to my world or new to me, say hello. I would love to say hello to you. If you are part of my tribe, say hi, tag me on replay, comment, share with me how you feel about what I'm going to talk about today in today's live. And as always, if you feel like, hello, welcome, hi Jamie, if you feel like you know someone who would love to be part of this group or you want to share this content with, go ahead and invite them or tag me and let me know what questions you have. All right, so I'm going to try to get this on my phone so I can see your comments. All right, here we go. Perfect. Okay, so today I want to talk about the magic of the synchronistic field. And this has to do with mastering manifestation and intention. And so yesterday I was explaining the singular matrix or the singular paradigm, essentially, that we create. Well, we're always a part of, but we create and reinforce this singular matrix or this internal paradigm when we get into relationship with our ability to see it and see ourselves separate from the external or collective reality. And as soon as we do this, something really powerful and potent happens. We get to the point where we get to interact with and become a part of building the infrastructure of our own reality. The synchronistic field is the field that becomes aligned in your vision when you not only see the power of your singular matrix, but you set intentions to learn and master from what you can perceive the communication of what I would call creation active in your life. And I was talking about this the other day in Compass, so I see a Compass member in here, hello, who can attest to, and maybe we'll share in the comments, her experiences of this. But for me, when I was setting out to study magic or learn to become magic in some way, what I really wanted was the ability to connect to like an internal communication that would guide me forward in my life into knowing where, not where to go, but into knowing like, am I moving in the right direction? And do I have an internal source of communication, which I thought was merely just my intuition, right? Like I had always believed that in order for me to really align with my internal wisdom, or what I would call like source wisdom, that the type of information that was available to me was my intuition. And I looked to synchronicity as like an answer to my question. And I thought to myself, if I was truly hearing like the information that source moving through me had for me, that when I asked the question, the answer would come in the form of a synchronistic confirmation, right? And so anytime a synchronicity would happen in my life, I would be so like, yes. Now I know, like it's that sensation of like looking for a sign, waiting for a sign. And what I didn't realize, I think, in the beginning of my studies around this is that I had the understanding that the confirmation that I was searching for was coming from a location outside of what I was intending and creating. And the reason for this is that I didn't understand how intention works inside of the life field or the singular matrix. And what I came to discover was that when you are self-leading creation, and when you are learning to master creation, and when you have built the structure and strength and power of your own internal paradigm, what actually happens is that you become the timeline. So when you become the timeline, what actually is going on is not you waiting for intuition, listening for intuition to guide you towards a confirmation of a yes or a no based on the way that your life is moving, but rather that when you set an intention, that life shifts itself in the direction of your vision because you have seen it, to talk with you about what you're creating instead of confirming to you what you should create. And so this is like a tiny little flip of the switch here, but is like the one secret change to mastering manifestation in your life when you understand that this is true. So what ends up happening is that you realize that you are creating the outcome. You're not waiting for the outcome, you're creating the outcome. And you're creating the outcome because you have set the intention for it to speak to you about what it is that you are creating. And then what happens from there is that if you have the right kind of guidance and the right kind of awareness, and your awareness stays focused in the correct places, that you have the opportunity as those confirmations or synchronicities come, to follow them while at the same time aligning to everything else that comes up to speak to you that is not in alignment. So it starts to become the communication becomes very simple. It's like, and this is my experience of it. It's like you set the intention for the thing, you think the thing, and the thing says, yes, we're thinking the same thing. We're on the same path. We're thinking the same thing. And then the things in your life or the events in your life or the awarenesses in your life that come up that are not in alignment become the alchemy. So they become the threads to make a choice about. So it's like the awareness that is in alignment is the confirmation, and the awareness that is not in alignment is the choice for alchemy. And as we kind of like shift those tiny little, so these are small, this is like minutia. What happens when you get to the point where you're speaking at this level with creation in your life. And so the tiny little things that you have to kind of adjust or recognize in your system or make decisions around become those little adjustments on the dial of alignment. And then all of a sudden what happens is every time you make that a tiny adjustment, every time you make a decision for a return to alignment in your system, you are liberating energy inside of that in singular field, inside of that internal matrix or that singular matrix. You are liberating the energy that has been kind of stored and stuck in there, and you're creating the space and more room for more of those confirmations or those timelines or those synchronicities that you have created. And in my experience of this, because I have been leading a group and teaching on this for about 4 or 5 months and practicing it myself for longer, is that you end up in this situation where everything starts to kind of align. And so you have a lot less of that, what I would call like energy that comes up that needs to be liberated, or the threads that become active and shown to you that needs to be liberated, and a lot more of the confirmations, like the yeses. It's like turning it's like turning your life field into one big yes because you learn to recognize the confirmations as the yes that was already the yes in you to begin with. And that energy grows. That energy starts to gain momentum. And the more you liberate the threads of your experience through the small adjustments, the more you say, oh, nope, no to that, no to that. And it doesn't have to be even a boundary or you cutting somebody out of your life or, you quitting your job. These things do not have to be big, life-shattering boundaries that we often feel, I think, on some level, worried about or scared about, like when it comes to us searching for the thing that's going to like be the tipping point or change the thing, in order to align to the more magical, dreamlike thing. It ends up being that the yes and the no in that opportunity for alchemy and adjustment and alignment is like such a powerful language inside the field that it starts to understand the yes and the no in a really powerful way. And it's like all that's left is yes. All that's left is like, yes, yes, yes. And the more you get into that synchronistic field, the more you get comfortable with that language, the more you see it, and the more of that yes energy becomes to be available to you, until the point where even the things that come up that you have to say yes or no to feel like a yes in your system. And mastering the synchronistic field is the way to master manifestation. It is something that I've never heard anyone teach on personally. It's not something that I've been exposed to in manifesting teachings, because I feel like it is a concept that has been taught in the way that I described it in the beginning of this live stream, where the synchronistic field was being used as mechanically as the functional awareness of a confirmation of a question asked as guidance, instead of the awareness of a confirmation spoken in return to the conversation that was started by me. And so it's like, if you are, and I think I shared this in yesterday's live, if you are looking at a concept and trying to understand the concept by looking at it instead of being the concept and understanding how it operates in your life in the tiny daily moments, then you have tuned into true embodiment. Then you have mastered and started yourself walking on a path of becoming the magic that you seek. The magic you see essentially sees you back, because you begin to understand how powerful those tiny moments are, how powerful those tiny adjustments are, how powerful the words that you speak are, how powerful and loud, actually, that the life field is speaking to you in attempting to deliver to you exactly what you are asking for. And for me, this feeling is the feeling that I set out to, and the experience that I set out to connect to and align with when I was desiring to understand what it meant to study magic and become magic. It really has that sensation of pure bliss and joy. It has this sensation of like childlike wonder, of like, you were like, oh, it's everything I thought it was. I had a suspicion. I just knew, I just knew it could be like this. I knew it was this easy. I knew it was this simple. I knew that there was an entire world of beauty and magic and, sparkle and like heavenly abundance all around me everywhere, I had a feeling it was there. I just couldn't tap into it. And it is there. It is absolutely there. And that is the way you learn to master manifestation. That is the way that you learn to become true, pure, undistorted, I'll just put it that way, magic. There is no strategy. There is a practice. There is a daily practice, and there is awareness that you need to return to. And there is an understanding of alchemy, and there's also an understanding of struggle. So you need to be able to understand struggle, challenge, quote unquote, suffering on a vibrational level, and free yourself from that through recognition of the communication that life has to offer you. It's kind of like similar to, if you could think of it like, are you moving in the direction that you should be in your life? And if you are living your life without intention as your entry point, let's just put it that way, then your life doesn't know which direction that you're moving in. So it's the difference between like conscious and unconscious creation. Conscious creation says, I know the direction I'm moving in because I'm telling you what direction we're moving in. And then as soon as you make that shift in your life, life goes, oh, awesome. Thank you. We were just doing all the things. We were just, creating as we do with the old programming and, some of the good stuff and some of the stuff that maybe you don't want to deal with anymore, and the stuff that doesn't serve you, and like all the collective stuff was hanging out in there, and it was a beautiful cocktail of all the things, but like you didn't tell us where you wanted to go, so you just had to weed through like a needle in the haystack. Like, now we're moving in the direction that you chose to move us in, and so here's all the information you need. The issue is that most people get to that place even when they start working with intention, and they still don't understand how to be appreciative of everything that comes. They still don't understand how to alchemize all of the information that comes their way and pull apart and like pick what is the tiny little adjustment, and like what is the life like talking with you arm in arm, just being like, yeah, that's right. We did know that. We do want that. Good. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And it's just this really incredible thing. Someone said, yes, owning the beginning of my exploration points and seeing synchronicities as feedback, not origin. It's a powerful practice. Okay, I want to finish with one other thing. I want to talk about the entry point, right? So where you start, I was telling everyone yesterday about how, the spiritual evolution, or the soul, requires spiritual growth as part of its evolution, because it's an aspect of you that lives beyond what you can see from your human perception. And that everyone, when we get to a point, no matter if you're somebody who's focused on like, business and peak performance, and you're not speaking about evolution or personal growth in spiritual terms, you still understand that mindset is important. You still understand that, meditation, ritual, different forms of, managing your energy, your stress levels is important. You still understand that in order to touch your growth edge when it comes to like goal setting and human resilience, you need to have a practice of a fully, a part of you that deals with the spiritual and the mental and the body and etc., right? The point of entry determines what you experience during the journey, and I'm talking about spiritual growth, and where you end up. And I'm just going to leave this here because I'm going to talk a little bit more about tomorrow, but I want you to think about it. If you begin a spiritual journey choosing to heal, and you're focused on healing, then you will be on a healing journey. And you are the only one who can decide when you are healed and graduate that journey into something else. If you begin a spiritual journey through the practice of discovering shadow and trying to eliminate and eradicate shadow from your life, if you say to yourself, I am, a priestess of feminine power, for example, and I am going to, alchemize everything that comes in my way, you will experience what a priestess of feminine power would experience. A lot of chaos, right? A force of nature. And you will end up creating that chaos in your life in order to fulfill the promise that you've made to yourself in the expansion and the direction that you're headed within that journey. It became apparent to me years ago that I was only interested in expanding into my soul's potential from an integrated place and from a place of like no definition when it comes to any sort of external construct. I don't believe in that I need to process shadow endlessly. I don't believe that I need to heal. I don't believe, and believe me, like I'm saying these things in the sense that I understand that aspects of my journey include this, but I do not believe that any of these sort of definitions or transformational definitions define how I'm going to end up from A to B. I know that that being in a position where I am free of distortion is important to me. So like clarity, purity in the sense of high intelligence, clear thinking, clear energy, clean energy, that is important to me. I understand, like, I don't define ego in a way where I make it a bad part of me. I think ego for me is just the way that my system processes data. And if I feed it good information, it will process and compute good information. If I feed it trash, if I feed it distortion, it's going to create distortion. It seems really simple to me. I see a lot of people out there kind of believing in these really important archetypes or forms of identification within their spiritual journey. And the thought that I want to present to you is like, have you considered the end of the journey within that frame? Because it will take you where you ask it to take you. And it will follow your direction based on the types of definitions that you build up around how you believe that that energy operates in your life. So, anyways, I just wanted to leave that here and share that here, but I will be back in here tomorrow for another live. And if you enjoyed this, share your thoughts with me. Can't wait to hear them, and I look forward to seeing you again. Bye.